Hey, I'm Billy Cochran of BrooklynRocks.com, and tonight we're having a conversation with local rock god TJ Hienswartz. How you doing, TJ? So TJ, let's go back to 1997. Your band, the Shadowcasters, is on the verge of worldwide success. You have everyone behind you, but there's tension behind the scenes. What happened that famous night backstage at the Del Rio Ballroom?
Look, Billy, music is a conversation. I mean, what if I were to answer your question by getting up and pissing in your ear? Right? I mean, that's not a very good conversation, is it? Because that's precisely what happened time and again. Before that night, up leading into it, and exploded that night, and I'm about to sing, and I think we have some footage. And, I'm building up to that note. I part my lips, and in comes this quavering note. I mean, over my spot. I mean, that is, that's unacceptable. That's just absolutely unacceptable. And yes, I did fire the band. I dismantled the entire organization from the ground up. It was dysfunctional.
Speaking of half-baked ideas and conversations that lead far afield, there's been a lot of conversation about your past drug use and how that has affected your songwriting.
Well, I don't think anybody knows a lot about substance abuse and chemistry and the creative process and how that all works. I think it works great for some people, and I think other people suffer from it. And I felt I needed it. It was a sort of ghost power that helped me to do some writing when I was suffering with just lack of inspiration. I would sometimes try to access some ghost power with my invention. But I haven't touched it for a long time.
Conflict. 1997. Del Rio Ballroom. Patty Standard. Why don't you tell us your version of that evening?
You know, Billy, there's a fine line between postmodernism and plagiarism, and I don't think Patty understands the nature of that line, and she crossed over it blatantly that night at the Del Rio. Suing her wouldn't have been enough. She crossed the line. I mean, you don't... It's stealing the work of an artist. I mean, plagiarism is the worst thing you can do. I mean, you might as well just kill them. You're killing a piece of them, you know? And Patty never had a fucking idea in her life, you know, and she doesn't know that. She doesn't know what that feels like, to have a real idea, to have vision, and to have some parasite come and just take a piece for themselves.
What about the crimes that were supposedly committed? What about the allegations that Patty made against you? There were allegations made of arson.
Arson? That's not my thing. Fire's not my thing. The allegations didn't stand up in court. I got out of that. You don't bite into a main power line without some kind of a serious shock.
So are you saying that drug use helped you conquer your fears of rejection, fears that you weren't good enough, and your well-known stage fright?
I would say that part of what needed to be conquered was my fear of using the drugs, actually.
You used drugs to conquer your fear of using drugs?
I mean, when I would use this stuff, and you know about what I'm talking about, I mean, it would be terrifying. It's a terrifying experience to throw yourself into this cardiovascular uncertainty, you know, and to not know how far it's going to go, you know. But being able to overcome that fear is where I think I made my had the greatest progress with taking drugs, and I think answering your question about stage fright, I think that helped tremendously.
The school chair in the basement. The school chair in the basement. That's where all bad boys go. When the music doesn't flow. The school chair in the basement. The school chair in the basement. That's where... Fuck. I'm scared.
Well, TJ, you also tried your hand at acting.
Yes, I was in a few films, mainly student films, but some interesting work. One of the more memorables and important pieces I was in was a piece called Wow, Can I Touch It? Which was sort of a, I'd like to describe it as a mechanized Adam and Eve, an adaptation of Adam and Eve for the young kids, for the video age.
For anyone who doesn't know, that was the first film of indie sensation Harakami Yashimuki. Harakami said that that was a gutless piece of shallow trash and that your work in it was worthless and that you should have ended up on the editing room floor. How do you respond to that?
Well, I have tremendous respect for the director, and my response has been to stick to music. That's where my heart was initially, and I think I don't want to spread myself too thin.
Some might interpret that as you admitting that you have absolutely no skills as an actor. Why don't we see a clip of that? Well, that's all the time we have tonight for this segment. But before we leave, I'd like to end with one final question. TJ, why does rock and roll need you?
Why does rock and roll need me? We're in the twilight of a long, long-standing gloom. Pretty soon that curtain is going to close. It's going to fall, and that's it. That's it. This is our last chance to keep the candle lit. I mean, what are we going to keep telling the children, that it's okay to, that it's cleanup time, the party is over? The party is over? And have them chit-chatting about where it was in the past? I mean, we can't go on vicariously giving these kids nothing new, no emblem to work with, no time of their own. I see a massive resistance, you know. I see a last strong resistance to the evaporation of the soul. And it might not last for a long time before we come to that stage that we're all fearing, but one last gasp, you know, one last gasp for humanity before it happens.
And there we are. Cryptic, impenetrable words from a cryptic and impenetrable man. TJ, it's been a pleasure having you here tonight.
It's been a pleasure to be here, Billy. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. And by the way, I specifically enjoyed the carpet.